Does it say record? It's recording. All right. So I need you to sit there. Oh, man. Sets going up in flames, all kind of shit. Welcome to the Redeem Yourself podcast. I'm your host, Jared. I got my lovely guest in the building tonight, Heba. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just to let you know, this is live everywhere right now. You are live. Where are we at? Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, your mama's house, like all that shit. Like,
nice.
Everybody's watching you right now.
Awesome. Not nervous.
Totally.
At all.
When that, you know what? I was gonna do that, but I feel like in order to go live, I got to get people to sign like disclaimers and stuff. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do all that tonight. But I'm happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
You ready? Look, I have
ready.
not recorded in about, man, what has it been, like a month? Yeah, man, I took a big hiatus, bro. Fell back, lost some important people in my life. You know, I'm still going through a big grieving period. So I'm ready to jump back into the fire and do what I love, which is tell these inspiring stories to help people in the struggle. And you reached out. And I was like, you know what, yo, let's go.
Let's
You
do
know what
it.
I'm saying? Yeah, let's do it. Word. So without further ado, oh, wait, no, that was the wrong button. It's not what we do here. Did you hear that? That shit was like an old ass drum, man. Let's do the right way. Man, y'all know the vibes. I believe we are on episode 47. I always fudge the numbers up every time I do this, but I double checked, and this is definitely episode 47. The Redeem Yourself podcast. I'm happy to be back. I want to hear this story. We're here to inspire, motivate, whatever the calling is. Let's get it. The Redeem Yourself podcast. Now we are actually recording in full effect.
Okay.
So before I get started, I like to do check-ins. Are you nervous?
Very much so. Like, I don't even know what to do with myself right now. I don't know where to put my hands.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with anything.
Ricky Bobby, what do I do with my hands?
What do I do with my hands?
What do I do with my hands? All right. Just take a deep breath.
I'm good.
And relax. It's all good here.
Yep.
All right, bet. So let's do a check-in. What's today? Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
How have you been? What's going on? You know, let's just check in. How you feeling? What are you feeling? Except nervous. We already covered that part.
I'm feeling all right. I mean, on my journey anyway. Going kind of through a lot with my parents. My parents are a lot older. Taking care of them, and my eldest brother moved in as well.
Okay.
So at least he's kind of lightening the load a little bit. But I'm actually feeling great. I'm very confident in where I am.
Nice.
I'm confident that I'm right where I'm supposed to be right now. You know?
Oh, yeah. Attitude of gratitude.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I definitely, I mean, I went through, and we'll get into that later, but I definitely went through a lot to get where I am. I'm super stoked. I made the president's list
Hell yeah.
for school for maintaining a over 3.8 GPA. And
Salute to you.
thank you.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm actually kind of exploring more of my spiritual journey right now too.
Are you?
I am.
All right, I am intrigued. I want to hear there's a piece of hair hanging off the microphone, and that was going to annoy me. Like, I had to get rid of that. My bad.
So growing up.
Oh, wait.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't even ask you a question yet.
You did.
Look how willing she was ready to dive into that drink.
He did ask me a question.
I asked how you were feeling.
Oh, okay. I'm feeling nervous now.
No,
I was okay before.
I think this would be the episode I just fuck around the whole time, bros. I gotta lighten my own mood. So sorry. Let me apologize in advance. Let me do my check-in, and then
Gotcha.
I ask you to go into your story because this hour is about you, all about you. I, despite everything that has been going on in my life, I'm starting to come out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like as most of the people that have watched and listened to the podcast over the last couple months, I lost my grandmother March of this year, March 16th to be exact.
So sorry.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And that was difficult leading up to it. Sean, this guy right here kept me busy as hell, like the whole time up until the funeral. And I came back and I didn't skip a beat.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But what ended up happening next is what really set me back. I got back home and my dad told me he was sick, like just randomly sick or whatever. And long story short, he, unbeknownst to him, was battling pancreatic cancer. And then, like, it was like as soon as he found out, like 30 days later, he was gone. And I lost him May 15th. So this last 2 months, 3 months now has just been like an emotional roller coaster. Like everything I loved, I kind of put on the shelf. I've been a shell of myself. Like I was really active, like in the gym every day, running. And I fucking ran on the treadmill. Can you believe that shit? Like I was running, like, yo, I'm at this shit. Now I hadn't touched it. Sean actually came over, wiped the dust off of it earlier. He said, is this the exercise room that you don't use? I was like, yeah, bro, this is it, man. Like, fucking, he got on there, he was working out and shit. So that was pretty funny. But it's like, you know, how long can I sit in sadness? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, salute to all of you who have reached out to me, whether it be on a post, on a text, in a message, whatever you said. Like, mad people just, hey, man, come on, get up. Like, I got your back. And I've never had that type of love and support in my life. So I'm ready. I'm here. And we're going to rock this shit out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. Look, she's breaking the ice. She's with it. Now, the spotlight's on you, madam.
Oh, great.
And there she goes again.
I'm actually fine.
All right, bet.
Messing.
Yeah, it's all good. See, she got a little wit to her too, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. A lot of fun. So, tell me about how life was for you growing up. You know what I'm saying? Where you grew up, what side of town, you a Richmond native, like what's the vibes?
So I was actually born in Cairo, and we immigrated here when I was 3.
Nice.
And my parents were a little bit older when they had me.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a pretty huge age gap between my brothers and I. So it's kind of like having 3 dads.
God damn.
As opposed to, yeah, like any boyfriend I brought over, they had to meet, like it was the 3 dads, basically.
Oh, that shit is like, what was that movie?
My big fat Greek wedding.
That one too, but
yeah.
Bad Boys is the one I'm thinking, where they hit the door and they're like, yo, how old are you?
I mean, overall, I had a really good childhood. I grew up here. I actually moved to Short Pump before it was built up. I went to Short Pump Elementary.
That's what's up. So you was out here when it was farmland.
Pretty much. We called that farm over there on the corner McDonald's farm.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
So because I'm Egyptian, my family's very conservative.
Okay.
They've kind of lightened up now, but back then, when you set foot in my house, you were setting foot on Egyptian soil. That was an embassy. That was not a home. Religion was really kind of shoved in my face, like very heavily, to the point where later down the line, I kind of questioned some things. And I was just brought up with a certain expectation. You know, we're Middle Eastern. We have very successful people in our families. And me being the rebel that I am, I went completely in the opposite direction. Hey,
you fit in. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, I definitely, I overall, what it forced me to do is actually do a lot of stuff behind my parents' back, as opposed to how I raised my daughter, how she's open with me. I had to do the complete opposite. I had to hide everything. And that actually led to a lot of resentment.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
likewise, I you know, same. Like, I don't know about the Egyptian embassy. That shit can't sound kind of smooth. Like, when you walked in my house, it was like ruler by authority, get down to lay down type shit. You know what I'm saying? And the same, you know, I moved here from Florida when middle school. So I went to Short Pump Middle. My 8th grade year is when I moved here. And my dad, God bless his soul, he left Florida when I was 9 to move here. So him and I just didn't connect. So when I got here, I was like 13, 14. And he was trying to lay down the iron fist again. And I'm rebelling at that point. Like, bro, you haven't been around in like 4 or 5 years. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In a thoughtful way. Like we got to have these conversations before he passed and how he believed he was doing the right thing for his family, you know, trying to create better future for himself, etc. And I appreciate it, you know, but at the time, little 13, 14-year-old me didn't quite understand it. You know what I'm saying?
I can definitely relate.
Yeah.
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 I mean, even though my parents were around, at the end of the day, and they're probably not going to be happy if they hear this, but at the end of the day, I really answer to my brothers, and especially my eldest brother. And right now, like I said earlier, he is living with us, and we're trying to kind of mend that relationship. But there was a lot of pent up resentment towards him because it ended up to where I didn't respect my parents the way I wouldn't say I didn't respect them. Of course I did, but his word was always the final word, and I had a hard time with that.
Your older brother?
My eldest brother, yeah.
Okay.
My middle brother, he and I are best friends, and my eldest brother and I were trying to get there. We're trying to get there. We've been spending a lot of time together. It's kind of been good to have him there.
Okay.
And then, like I said, religion was just a huge part. And on top of that, my culture, you know, there were a lot of things that I wasn't allowed to do that all of my friends were allowed to do. For example, I wasn't allowed to go spend the night at my friend's house. I wasn't really allowed to have boyfriends. I wasn't allowed to date.
Was that like a cultural thing, though?
Definitely a cultural thing.
Really?
And I noticed that because when I went to college in Egypt for a little while.
Oh, yeah?
I did, at American University in Cairo. It was so refreshing to have friends that understood kind of what I was going through.
You know, I've never marked that as like a cultural thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting hearing you say it because shit, man, my mom just wouldn't let me go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? That's why I rebelled. She was like, I remember 13, I was like, hey, Mom, can I go to the movies? Like I had just made friends here and she was like, no. And that was probably the start of me like, well, fuck it. I'm not going to ask anymore. I'm just going to sneak out. You know what I'm saying? And if you find me, you find me. Oh, well. You know what I'm saying? And then I got kids now, you know, and they'll have friends like come over, hang out, but not everybody could spend the night. And I do notice that it is, you know, people with certain religious backgrounds that are like more, I can't really think of the word, but more distant when it comes to like staying past a certain time.
Right.
So that's interesting. That's good to know. That educated me. Thank you.
And a big thing that set me apart too was like my curfew, for example. Like everyone else, when Skate Nation was a big thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember back in the day?
Yeah.
I had to be home by 8.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
and that's when everybody's like just getting there.
Yeah, we just
and
walking
I'm like,
out,
oh,
smelling like Cool Water and Curve. And my Nautica fleece. Oh man, 8 o'clock curfew.
8 o'clock curfew.
Damn it.
And I'm not joking. My dad would be standing outside waiting for me.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Making sure 8 o'clock rolled around. But how did you get there?
Oh, either my friend's parents would take me, or sometimes my dad would take us. And it was actually me and my best friend Lauren at the time. Either her parents would drive us, and my dad would pick us up, or there's always an issue when her dad picked us up. He wasn't the most punctual person in the world. So that's when my dad would be outside with his robe and his pajamas with the phone in his hand, ready to call the cops. And like,
what?
Yeah.
Oh, we going from 1 to 10 real quick.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, no, I think the biggest thing that culturally, it was just what was expected of me as a female. And Egyptians, they're very progressive versus the rest of the Middle Eastern world. But there was a lot of expectations put on me about being a good wife and getting a good education. You know, and I'm sure you understand that too, Sean. You know, things that you have to do to get married and have a husband. That was not what was on my mind. You know, I'm just trying to get through another year of not being the cookie cutter daughter that they were looking for. And as time went on, I rebelled, and I rebelled big time.
Word. Nah, I understand that because expectations are so strange now, being older and understanding it. Like expectations, I find like are my own issue to deal with. You feel me? Like I can only give my kids the game. Like, and then as I've learned in my own experiences, like, man, I have to allow them to live their life. But my job is also I kind of step in when I see shit going down. Like, hey, bro, I've been down that road. Like, reel it back in. Like, I'm not trying to to salt your game. Like, I see you having fun, but relax. You know what I'm saying? Versus like where in my household, it was like my way or the highway. Yep. My parents' favorite term to this day, well, not my parents, but my mom's favorite term was like, yo, get out. Like, this is my house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, all right, bet. Like, I'm leaving. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I try to take from all the shit that I didn't like and change it now in my parenting ways. Yep. But God, do I sound like my dad sometimes.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Like, fuck, man. You got me good, Pops. All right. So a lot of these things are happening in your childhood. You felt, what I'm hearing is maybe you felt like left out. Maybe fully didn't understand the reasonings why like certain things were happening in your life, and then the religious aspect was kind of pushed in your face, which that's how I grew up too. Like in Florida, I was in the church damn near every day. Mm-hmm. So much so that I told myself and my parents, like, yo, when I turn 18, I am never going to church again. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I was that like with it. And it's funny because I didn't, but it's also like when my life went, like all the way.
That happens.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's funny looking back at it all, because all of those lessons that I did learn in the church are who I am at my core. You know what I'm saying? Loving people, being kind to people, treating people nicely. Like the normal everyday shit like you should do is the same voice that I used to hear internally when I was outside being reckless. Yeah. So I'm happy to be, I still don't go to church as frequently, maybe.
Me either.
Once or twice a year, but I'm working on it. Progress, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Bet. So take me to, let's go like middle school into high school. Like how did that start to transition for you? Was it a little wiggle room there? Was it still
no
not
at all? I think my curfew changed from like 8 to 9. Maybe I'm not even exaggerating. I wish I was exaggerating. I think that's what it was. And I'm a very highly sensitive person. I'm an empath. Mm-hmm. I feel people's energy, emotions, and I feed off of it.
Me too.
And I was such an easy target at school because you could just poke fun at me. And I'm sure you noticed when you poke fun at me today, like I get wound up so easily.
I didn't notice. What are you talking about? No.
I get wound up so tight. And it just, like I said, it made me an easy target. It really did.
You went to Tucker, right?
I did go to Tucker.
So.
And Short Pump Middle. Yep.
Easy target. Well, let's clear the air. I don't ever recall making fun of you.
Oh, no. You did not make fun of me. I was just saying. No,
I was just
not
making
at
sure,
all. No.
I was a wild boy.
No.
All right, cool.
No, there were it was a couple people who made my
life.
Fucking
name them. Let's call them out.
No, we're not.
You. Let's not beat around the bush here.
You know what, though? Those people definitely grew up, and they've become amazing human beings.
That's what's up.
And I'm very blessed to still be considered a friend, even if we weren't that close, or, they made my life hell. Doesn't matter. We're good. I mean, I saw everybody at our 20-year reunion, and it was actually beautiful.
Wait, did that happen already?
Well, yeah.
When did it happen?
Well, what year did y'all graduate?
03.
I was 02. So I was a year before you. That's why it hasn't happened yet.
Oh, all right. I was about to say, wait a minute. I swear we were just reading this. Like, how did we miss it? Because we both were like, yo, we pulling up to this 20-year reunion. All right.
No, but it was actually beautiful.
That's what's up.
It was amazing. I had a really good time that night, actually. So,
where'd y'all go?
Where did we go? Oh gosh, I completely forgot.
Damn it.
Oh my God, where did we go?
We'll do some Google searching.
We'll figure it out. I can't remember. I can't remember now where it was. Mekong.
So he was hanging out with Fong. Oh, can I say? Yeah, I can say Fong's name. That's my man. He was hanging out with Fong in there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. I saw him. Stephen Belford's funeral arrangement. Rest in peace, Stephen.
Rest in peace.
Down there hanging out with Fong. Dapped me up a couple of times. That was my guy, man. We gotta go there. Next podcast, we're going to Mekong.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's what's up. Sound like everybody from Tucker always ends up there. Like everything is at Mekong. Yo, where we going? Yo, Mekong. All right. So you had 9 o'clock curfew.
9 o'clock curfew. I mean, there was very high expectations for good grades, and I went undiagnosed with ADHD for a very long time. I just got diagnosed about a year and a half ago, and nobody could really understand. My brother has a degree. He's super successful. Mm-hmm. My middle brother he works for Jetmore. I mean, he's really successful as well. And I'm over here barely passing, my classes, because in our culture, there is no such thing as mental health. If you go see a psychologist, you got to do it on the down low. You can't go, telling everyone that you have to go get help.
It's like a sign of weakness.
It is.
Okay.
It absolutely is. So, and there were other signs and symptoms that I had going on that nobody bothered to, I wouldn't say nobody bothered. They just, to this day, my mom says, I hope God cures you. And I appreciate that.
Right.
But that's not how it works.
Sometimes we need, sounds like my mom. Yeah. Blessings.
Yes.
After every text.
God will bless you.
Oh, man, here we go. Thanks. I understand. You see? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Hey, Ryan, go front. That should be driving me crazy sometimes, yo. I get blessings. Like, yo, if you don't stop, okay.
But that's basically what they did. Every time, and that's really where it all centered around, was anytime I had an issue, anytime I had bad grades, anytime I did this, anytime I did that, it was always back to God.
Oh, yeah?
And that was, again, something that was a super focus in my household. Mm-hmm. So kind of like piggybacking off what you said, where you were like, when I'm 18, I'm never going to church again.
Yeah, yo.
When I turned 18, I researched every religion there was, and I'm still kind of struggling with that. But I did end up graduating and going to VCU, and made the decision to expand my horizons a little bit and moved to Egypt and went to the American University in Cairo.
Hell yeah, that's sweet.
That was amazing.
Sounds like it.
I
really want to go to Egypt and Cairo so bad.
It is beautiful.
See, tell me more.
It is so beautiful.
This is where I get all dreamy-eyed. Tell me more.
No, imagine just going. I know we're getting off the topic, but just imagine going into the museum. Mm-hmm. Every level is basically about a different empire. So you've got the Romans, the Greeks, the English. It just goes on from Alexander the Great, all of the artifacts, and how wasteful the pharaohs were. I'm talking chamber pots made of solid gold and
just
jade.
Get this out of my face, you peasant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just toss this.
Exactly. But the other thing that I really enjoyed about Egypt as a whole that I feel like I don't get a lot of here is the camaraderie. And I have found that in recovery.
Yes.
Actually.
Definitely.
So here, if you're broken down on the side of the road, and I'm going to use this as an analogy, but broken down on the side of the road and need a tire change or whatever, nobody's going to stop because you're probably a serial killer for all they know.
Yeah,
or the person stopping is a serial killer. Right. It doesn't matter. There's a serial killer in that situation.
There's just
somewhere.
too much going on here. Because I've felt really bad. I've passed some stranded vehicles and been I should probably stop. But, I'm just going to call and say there's a car here because of that. I don't know, yo. I just don't know.
But see, in contrast, in Egypt, you got a flat tire. They can't figure out how to fix it. They'll get enough people. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but they'll get enough people where they're just surrounding the car and picking it up and moving it for you.
See, that's sweet.
But that really embodies kind of recovery for me too. It's togetherness and it's camaraderie, and I said that before, but it's just a feeling of family and belonging somewhere. And I really, that was the first place where everything kind of clicked, and I was like, I feel at home here.
Yo, that's what's up.
Yeah. So it was a great experience. One of my best friends, I've known her since then. She lives in England now, but we stay in communication, talk all the time.
And this was somebody you met when you went to college back in Cairo?
Yeah. Her name, funny enough, Heba.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Yep. So I ended up coming back here for the summer, and unfortunately, my dad had a massive heart attack, and that kind of just kept us here. So, ended up enrolling in VCU. I don't know if you're gonna keep.
Yeah, do your thing.
All
Yo,
right, so
this is
I
your
enrolled
hour.
in VCU and started working at T-Mobile.
Okay.
And that is where I met my ex-husband. And I have mad love for him. I think he is a great dad. He's a great person overall. We fell in love, got married, and part of it was kind of a little part of me was trying to escape my family a little bit too, to be honest. Like, if we're gonna be for real, I really was.
It was an escape for you, like you
said.
Yeah.
You know, and
How old were you?
I was 20.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
that was major. Escape.
Yeah, I was 20. I turned 21 the year we got married. Actually,
he caught you fresh out the pond.
He's older.
Yeah, he was fresh. He dropped lure, sank, hooked.
Oh, well, he was 11 years older than me, or is 11 years older than me.
So my man was bro, fresh out the pond.
Yep. But we got married. I'll tell you a funny story since we were talking about curfews. Mm-hmm. So we had 2 ceremonies, one in the mosque and one the next day, like for our family and friends. Mm-hmm. I was married in the eyes of God the night before, and Chris took us out to dinner. I had to be back by 10 o'clock that night. Like that's how
really?
I swear.
To your parents' house after you were married.
After I was technically in the eyes of God married, I had to be at 10 o'clock. Y'all have no idea,
bro,
what my life looked like.
I'm gonna do this to my daughter, and you get your ass back home.
You're letting your daughter out? I'm not.
Nah, your ass ain't going nowhere. Hey, what? You married? Nah, 10:30 then. That is pretty wild, though.
Yeah,
but you were still like mad young too, so I kind of get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like 20 years old, 21. It's like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're still 10 o'clock. Come on home. Nothing good happens. I mean, I was married. Midnight.
I was still technically married, but it was great at first. He had a son named Kyle, who I still consider my kid.
That's what's up.
And he was 9 when we got married, so it was an equal amount of age difference between the 3 of us.
Stepmama early.
I was. And then eventually had Jenna. And that's kind of where my addiction started in. So
around 20...
About 21.
Okay.
Or excuse me. No, 24.
24.
Sorry. Okay. It took us a couple of years to have Jenna.
No, you good. So around 24, like, so break it down. Were you drinking ever growing up, like, recreationally?
So I did have a period, and we glossed over this. So
you good.
I did have a period where I got into a really bad car accident with a semi truck on 3 Chop by Church Run.
Oh shit.
And instead of like, and this is a theme throughout my life, but instead of thanking God or my higher power or whoever for being alive, I turned to drinking instead. Like, I had like survivor's guilt, even though there was no one else in the car. Like, I don't know how else to explain that.
Yeah, no, I understand.
You know, and there was a period where I drank very heavily, and that's a huge, like, it's against our religion. I mean, we all kind of do it anyway, but
well, I think that's like everybody's religion. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I grew up in a Christian household, and I think in the Bible it says about, I can't quote the Bible, but there's something in there that says something about drinking too much. Like, like that's about...
Well, yeah, it impairs your judgment.
Well, duh. That's why we did it. Like, stupid decision, fuck it. Oh, man. So you drink heavily. So that started, how old were you then?
That was actually at 19.
Okay.
Yeah, that was at 19. It was a very small period. To be honest, alcohol has never been my thing. I don't like the taste of it. I don't like the smell of it. I have to drink enough to where my throat gets numb so I don't taste it anymore.
Isn't that so crazy? That's how I was. I hated the taste of beer. Hated the taste of... I hated that shit.
Yeah.
But for me, it was, A, fitting in. And 2, like, that's how I knew how to handle whatever was bothering me.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? Well, life sucks right now. I'm going to just go get fucked up and numb it all.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to drink enough till all of this shit just tastes like water going down.
Yep.
Crazy. All right. So you have your daughter at 24.
Yep.
And then
I had an issue. Like, it was like a long period of time where I was in a lot of pain. Nobody could really tell me where it was coming from, back and forth from the hospital a lot. And of course, they start prescribing. Back then, it was, Percocet left and right. There was no issue.
Here, take 2 of these. Call me tomorrow.
And actually, I remember when it first started, I remember the nurse telling me to take 2 every 3 hours. And I looked at her and I said, 2? And they were like 5 milligram. Mm-hmm. And I realized very quickly, while that didn't happen with alcohol, it sure should happen with pills.
What do you mean?
Meaning, I didn't get hooked on the alcohol, but as soon as I started taking pills, I found myself, but there really was something wrong with me, by the way, but I found myself finding an excuse
to get more.
And my luck was that it was my gallbladder. And then so they actually had me hooked up with this GI doctor. I'm definitely not going to say his name.
Don't do that.
Yeah, no, I'm not
not getting sued by the doctor.
So, no, he kept me in the hospital because we couldn't figure out where the pain was coming from. And I'll tell you exactly where it was coming from. It was coming from them putting me on Dilaudid and getting off of it and being sent home and kind of withdrawing, so your pain is amplified, but the Percocet wasn't cutting it anymore. So then they kind of put me in the hospital. I stayed off and on for about 3 months. I was getting 4 milligrams Dilaudid in my IV every 2 hours.
You was in there.
I walked out of there an addict. Oof. Like, walked out of there a full-blown. Now, did I know that I was an addict?
Nah.
No. All I knew was, this feels good. I need more of it. But I'm in control. But what the lie is, I had no control over any of that. I had no control over any of that. And for a long time, again, where I said I got lucky but unlucky, really, where I got this doctor who slowly prescribed all the way up to 30s.
Damn.
And I remember going to him. It was right before I went to Ohio. I went to him and I said, dude, I think I have a problem. I need your help.
And you said this to the doctor?
I said this to the doctor, and he responded. And this is where opiate, like the whole crisis just comes from.
Sounds like that Dope Sick TV show.
He wrote me a prescription for 60 Perk 30s and gave me a phone number to call.
What was the phone number?
The Coleman Institute.
Oh, like the
medical.
Yeah. Like what the rehab home?
Well, no, it wasn't even rehab. It was some weird, like they put you to sleep.
Yeah, and so that's the spot downtown.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, got you. And you go in there, and it's almost like they also have medication-assisted recovery programs.
Correct.
All right.
Of course, I didn't call anybody.
Yeah.
I took those pills, and I ran with them. And right around that time, we planned to move back to Ohio. So before I left, I decided to do my own research and got on Suboxone before I left.
Okay.
I approve of MAP programs only if they're done the proper way. And you have to want to do it.
Right.
That was not for me at all. That just kind of went into a whole new cycle of something else that I got hooked on that I just couldn't be without. And instead of using it the way that it was supposed to be used, I traded it. And it was so easy in Ohio. This town that I lived in had the highest overdose rate per capita in the entire state.
And how old were you then?
27, 26, 27.
So you were on
after, yeah.
So at this point, you was on like a 3-4 year run of opioid use.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's where the concentration was. I had no use for Adderall. I had no use for anything else. But at that time, I was still in denial. You know, I still was functioning properly.
Right.
I could go to work. You know, did I have to take something in the morning to do that? Sure. And by that time, getting on the Suboxone, it was kind of that same vicious cycle.
Mm-hmm.
To feel normal, I had to take something.
Just to be normal
just to
and
be
function.
normal.
God
Exactly.
damn.
Exactly. And it's every single recovering and active addict's thought process is, I can't be normal on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I need something. It's always
it's a crutch.
It's a crutch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I'm not knocking MAT programs,
right.
But back then they weren't run the way they run now.
Nah, and I mean everybody and everything has had to go through a learning curve, because even with opioid use, like watching that TV show Dope Sick, a lot of that shit, because that wasn't my drug of choice. My drug of choice was alcohol and cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they went hand in hand for me. I hated the taste of alcohol, but for whatever reason,
yeah, I never understood that.
Once I got drunk, it was like, fuck, I need powder. You know what I'm saying? Just was like, both of them went together. You know what I'm saying? So when I did start hearing about like opioids, like I would try Percocets, but it just wasn't my thing. I never felt, or maybe I never took them enough to ever feel the effects. And this one time I did take some Oxycontin, right? I took it once. Me and one of my homeboys, he's no longer here, God bless his soul. And I had some, and he took one, I took one, and we were just kind of drinking, chilling. Well, the next day, we were both sick as fuck, right? And I was like, man, what the fuck is wrong? You know, he called out of work, I called out of work. So, you know, of course, we're just laughing about it. Like, man, we must have got fucked up.
Right.
So the next night, or 2 nights later, we did it again. And that's when I realized, like, oh, shit, maybe I'm dope sick. So I stopped. You know, I was like, nah, I don't want to take that shit no more. Like, I hated the way I felt. You know, as I was throwing up, you know, I was like, nah, that's not cool. Like, I don't want to do that. So I always stayed away from trying to acquire pills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's interesting when I hear, you know, I got other homeboys who had like sports injuries, who got hooked on Percocets and such. Like, knock on wood, I just haven't had that occur.
And hopefully never.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, to it ever be like a real issue in my life, you know? Because it could have been, you know, as I was knee deep in a lot of shit on my own.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it, like, now, like, everything has improved drastically, even to the point, you know, to my knowledge, that being in the field, that access to that kind of stuff is like highly limited. Like, so much so I hurt my back when working out like 2 years ago. And when I went to the hospital, I was like, I couldn't move, you know, and I was in a lot of fucking pain, and I didn't care what they gave me. But the dude, he was like, man, well, I gave you this. I gave you Percocet and this shot. Like, I can't give you anything else. I'm like, bro, like, I didn't ask you for medicine. Like,
right.
I just want to know, what can I do so I can at least walk? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I don't care about the medication. You know what I'm saying? Like, they ended up giving me like muscle relaxers, and I didn't even take them because I took one and it didn't help. Like, I was still in pain, and I was Googling, and it was like, yo, for back spasms, the only thing you can do is rest and like deal with it. So I spent 2 weeks in ridiculous amount of pain, pushing a office chair through the house to lean on wheels, like, just to walk around. Like, the kids got a kick out of it. But that was like my interaction with these things today. You know what I'm saying? Especially like MAT assisted programs. I do see a lot of success stories coming out with people who, like you said, use them properly.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'm going to jump forward for a second, but I think the best like hybrid of all of this is Suboxone. And I don't know if we should go into it, but the withdrawals are like non-existent.
Nice.
It builds up in your system over time. It breaks the habit of taking something.
Okay.
You're just even.
Nice.
That's part of what kind of like brought me back. That saved me. And I was able to wean off very easily instead of tapering.
Before you even jump that far,
I didn't mean to. I just
No, you're good. It was like a positive piggyback on what we were talking about, to say that there is other options. So
yeah,
much appreciated. Let's get, so you in Ohio, you start peddling shit, you understanding, like, at what point were you like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, this may be a problem.
So I jumped a little too far ahead. When I first started taking the Suboxone, I was fine for a while until I started making friends. There are very few people in that town, It's just some hole in the wall town who are not on something.
Oh, yeah?
Every person I met, yes.
Yeah.
Every person I met, it didn't matter, young, old. And that's the thing about addiction. It does not fucking discriminate
nobody
at all. I don't care if you're wearing a business suit. I don't care if you're homeless. It can, anybody.
I'm telling you.
Anybody.
When I was selling, allegedly, cocaine to people that I knew were like way smarter than me and had like some super privileged life. And I was like, bro, like, how are we the same? You know what I'm saying? Oh shit, yo, it's rough, yo. There is no discrimination between those lines. Like when you get in the thick of that shit, like you were in there and you cross paths with some of everybody.
So I think I realized that I had a problem when it started affecting the relationships I had in my life and work. When it got to the point where I was either eating all of my Suboxone, which was what happened in the beginning. I'd run out. Doctor won't call anymore in. I'm screwed. I just have to get through it. Or when I started making friends and realizing I could trade my Suboxone or sell it and get what I wanted.
Which was what?
Which was Percocet.
That was your
all
drug.
day long.
All right, so that was your drug of choice.
That was definitely my drug of choice. But kind of lost my train of thought. Sorry. Yeah, with just having it affect my relationships and realize I can't physically get out of bed to go take care of my daughter or take care of this or take care or even just go to work or take a shower. But I think the biggest facade that I had was everyone around me knew that I had a problem before I did. So by the time I realized it, I was so deep in this shit that I really truly believe it. Jails, institutions, and death. Like I went hardcore. And that was basically the purpose that Suboxone served was get my prescription, sell them, or get my prescription and trade them for whatever I could get.
Allegedly.
You know? Allegedly. Never.
Everything's alleged.
Everything. And I did find myself in situations where I just stopped taking the Suboxone and just started using the money that I was paying these clinics. And these clinics, let me tell you, back then,
get your shit together.
What? The guy I was going to was an ex-gynecologist who had a heroin problem, so he went and got his Suboxone license because apparently it's just a couple classes. And the amount of money I spent just doing that.
So he was legally serving.
Yep.
Wait. Damn it. We missed out, Sean.
Oh my goodness.
We were trying to be like allegedly street criminals and shit. We fucked up. Like.
Yeah, but it just
hindsight.
Yeah, exactly.
I love y'all. Can I say that? This is nice. I'm so happy to be here. All right.
But no, so yeah, like I said, it was he was just a drug dealer too. So I just took that money and started using it to, which my parents are paying for my doctor, but I was just taking the money and buying what I wanted to buy.
Mom, Dad, she has changed.
Absolutely. Right. I've been clean for almost 6 years. Absolutely have changed. But I found myself getting deeper into that hole and willing to pay anything. And if I tell you, I paid $60 for a Perk 30 one time. That's how desperate I was.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the street value of them shits was.
I don't. Honestly, neither do I, because I was paying $60 for the bitches. So I don't even know. I don't know what they're supposed to be. They sure shit weren't supposed to be $60. But it didn't matter because you're sick. You just want that feeling to go away. It's so sad that alcohol and drugs basically take over your survival instincts. You've got sleep, drinking, and eating. When you start doing drugs or you start drinking alcohol, all of those things become secondary, and using substances becomes a primary.
Yeah.
And it's
your life revolves around it.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I was very fortunate. I was very manipulative, though. I'm not even going to sit here and lie.
Addicts, we're good at that.
Exactly. I have thankfully never stolen anything from anyone, but I have definitely manipulated my way into getting money. Mm-hmm. And, you know, my poor mom, I'm actually still paying her money to this day to make up for all the time she bailed me out when I wasn't feeling well.
But look at you doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you, yo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I tried for a little bit to get clean on my own. I decided that this was when I was like, hold on, I don't even know, 28, 29, I'm somewhere in there. In like 2013, 14. Mm-hmm. I decided to like shape up and get my shit together and get back on Suboxone, go to meetings. I went to meetings.
And this is still in Ohio?
It's still in Ohio. I just moved back like almost 2.5 years ago.
So you fresh back to RV.
I'm fresh back to, yeah.
Welcome home, shawty. What's up?
Thank you. So I made friends with this girl named Megan at NA. I was big on NA. And when I tell you, like, just someone who is super dynamic, like can work a room, like just walks in and you're just drawn to her. Mm-hmm. I love that girl to death. But have you ever seen the movie Hancock?
Yes, the joint Will Smith.
So you know how they are so made for each other, but they're each other's destruction. That was my partner in crime.
So wait, was the villain in Hancock a lady?
Yeah, it was Charlize Theron and then Will Smith, Hancock, and then his wife.
See, now I gotta go rewatch this shit.
Yeah, so the thing is that they're so attracted to each other, but when they get together, it's nothing but destruction. Nothing good comes of them being together. Exactly. So, you know, she and I were clean for a while together, and that just kind of tapered off to, oh, well, who's your plug? Oh, well, who's my plug? And then, you know,
start sharing
information. And there's definitely such a thing as a toxic meeting and a good meeting. The one we went to overall was a pretty good meeting, but there were some other ones where the guys were just sitting in the parking lot waiting for us to come out, like to sell us shit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So she became my absolute like POC, like or PIC.
What's that mean?
Partner in crime.
Okay.
I'm
kind of old, yo. All these abbreviations these days.
Yo,
you my PIC. You my what? All right. Cool.
But yeah, she, like I said, we were. It was nice to have someone to share the misery with, but at the same time, the more she did, the more I did. The more I did, the more she did. And, you know, eventually, she ended up going to prison. And there's relevance to all of this, but she ended up going to prison. She'd gotten into 3 DUIs, or three car accidents because of a DUI. So the first one, she wrecked her car. Second one, wrecked the rental car. The third one, wrecked the rental for the rental, all within about a 60-day period. So she went to prison.
Damn.
Well, so this is about the time that I had started to like clean up my act a little bit, and I kind of distanced myself from her. And that's like a recurring theme. But as soon as she came back, she didn't have anywhere to go. So she stayed with us. And we stayed clean for a little bit and then started in on our shit again. And, you know, as long as we were both okay for the day, we were good. You know, meanwhile, I feel for my ex-husband because I put him through hell. I really do. And I have a hard time admitting that because I don't want to say that a lot of the problem was me, but he kind of lost his wife at some point in that marriage, you know? I lost who I was. I'm not this, you know?
And that's what Taylor Swift said it best, you know what I'm saying?
The first goes the deepest? No.
Nah, the other one.
Wait, that's not even
that's
her.
That's not Taylor Swift. Not even her. The first cut is the, do you know? Who is that?
I have no idea. don't listen to that shit.
That shit was on like, what was them cheesy ass high school movies back in the day? Like 10 Ways to Lose a Guy and all them stupid ass shit.
10 Things I Hate About You?
Yeah. It was in one of those kind of movies. Taylor Swift said, "It's me. I'm the problem. It's me."
Oh, okay.
See, y'all don't know the vibes.
No,
bro.
I
Salute
apparently
to
don't.
Taylor Swift, yo. Swifties.
Continue. But anyway, yeah, like I said, I just, he was definitely not the perfect husband. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to bash him, so I'm not even going to go down that road. There are also reasons that I did the things that I did too. Mm-hmm. We'll just leave it at that.
There's a reaction for every action.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. I've been there. I've came on here several times to speak about my past relationships, with the mother of my child, children, my sons. She wasn't perfect. I definitely wasn't perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then eventually we just kind of, which rightfully so, the second that ended, my life went, phew, like, you know what I'm saying? So it just hit a point where neither one of us was growing. You know what I'm saying? And I reached a point, that was actually the day that I decided to get sober. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what? I'm done with this shit. Like, I don't care what happens in my life right now. I want to be sober that bad. Mm-hmm. And that was like my foundation. Like, I just stopped everything and just kind of became a hermit and secluded myself until I could figure out what was going on with me. So I understand.
I get that.
I get you.
I get that. So back to Megan, because she plays a pretty integral role in all of this too. Mm-hmm. She one of the last times I saw her, we had gotten at this point I'd flipped to heroin. Heroin turned into fentanyl. Ooh. And that's where things went really downhill. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time she died. So we're in the car. My friend's in the driver or in the passenger seat. She's in the back seat, and she's like, "Yo, she is not responding." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, "There's no fucking way we're making it. I can't call an ambulance. I got to get her ass to the hospital like right now." Mm-hmm. And I ended up driving as fast as I could, and I had to stop because when I tell you she was unresponsive, she was turning blue. Oh shit! And I had to stop the car, and I had
like administer CPR. And shit.
And that is how I also there's something higher than myself because who was behind me? The fucking coroner for the county who knows CPR, who called the cops, who had Narcan, who got the ambulance there. Had I not stopped at that exact spot, he just happened to be in the brew through. Like you know what I mean? Yeah. Like she would have died.
Right.
And you know what really pisses me off even more, though, is that I go to the hospital. Of course, I get amnesty because I had dope on me, too. But I'm like, I didn't do anything.
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Allegedly.
Yeah. She's in the hospital, and she's like, yo, where's my dope? I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. I said, you have got to be kidding me. Mm-hmm. Dude, I like no joke. I actually have like real PTSD with all, that entire scenario. Situation. Like, when people like see their situation all around, like they're in that moment. I had that all the time, and that's when I kind of like had to let her go. And I went like year and a half, something like that, of not talking to her, and she always has a way of pulling me in. She called me up. And
tissues.
She called me up and said, "Listen, my boyfriend," and I was clean at the time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was clean at the time.
You suck at quarterback. Sorry, this is a serious moment, Sean.
No, she was. I was clean at the time, on Suboxone, but I was still clean. I was doing my thing. And she calls me up and sucks me back into her freaking drama and her bullshit. Oh, my boyfriend's beating me. Come rescue me. And of course, what am I going to do? I mean, I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, exactly. I left work and went down there. Guess what she wanted? For me to take her on a fucking drug run.
Bruh.
Yeah. So I also found out at the time, and I'm fast forwarding. I'm almost at the end actually, but
take your time.
I found out from her at that time that and again, I had gotten my shit straight. I skipped right over rehab. I'm so sorry. I got so like focused on her. So after this whole thing with her happened, I had kind of gotten out of control myself, and my whole family, my ex-husband, my brothers, my parents, they're like, you get your shit together or we're done. So the next day I went to rehab.
How long did you stay?
I stayed for 28 days. I had a court date 2 days later, so I had to go a couple days early. I was so resistant. So resistant.
So you weren't really ready?
No. But you know what, though?
You did it.
I did it. That was it. That was the one time I told myself if I was going to put myself through that hell, I'm only going to do it once.
Word.
And I'm done. And I did. I've been clean ever since. But so I'd come back from rehab. Yeah. Okay. So Megan calls me. She's getting beat up and supposedly and needs me to take her on a drug run. And she told me at that time that they had found 2 grams of heroin on her and a 8-ball of meth or something like that. And she was knotted out at the Walmart bathroom and she had charges coming up. And right around that time,
transporting a fugitive.
Yeah. Well, right around that time, I was having issues with my ex-husband anyway. So she went back to prison. I left Chris and moved back here.
This was like 2 years ago. Come on, yo.
She
I got an extra one for you too.
She called me. She had gotten back in touch with me a couple of times since getting out of prison for the second time. And she asked me if she could borrow $50. And I told her on the phone, I said, dude, I'm not going to contribute to your bullshit. I'm not co-signing on this. You're going to fucking die. Guess what happened 2 days later?
She died?
She died.
Damn.
Yeah. I carry that shit with me all the time, man. All the time.
Some things, from one person to another who has lost many of people. I've lost a plethora of people that I was toe to toe with day by day. It's difficult, right? But what I heard you say is that you stood up for yourself.
Yeah. Because
push come to shove, that scenario was going to happen anyway.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah, it is tough because your final words were like a premonition almost. But anybody could have said that. You know what I mean? Any given human being could have looked at me. Yo, you're going to die. And that was the truth. I almost fucking died. You know what I'm saying? It took me to that point, thank God, my higher power. He was like, nah, bro, not yet. You know what I'm saying? Then I woke up pissed the next day. Mad, angry at the world. Bro, why am I here? This is not the life I want. You know what I'm saying? So don't walk around, because we do have a habit and tendency to walk around with so much stuff internally, right? And we don't even know it. When I did a 4th step, I was writing all this shit down and stuff I forgot about. But it was so heavy, I immediately started crying. So I was like, oh my God, and this is recent. So I was 9 years sober and just doing it. And I'm like, yo, that's why I feel so heavy sometimes. That's why I'm so emotional, shit gets to me because I was walking around with so much that I forgot about. So let yourself breathe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That young lady had every opportunity.
That's what makes me so mad. That's what makes me so mad.
What part?
The part that she was in prison, and I know that you can get shit in prison. I'm not naive. I've been to jail. I mean, I'm not naive, but just the sheer fact that she didn't use those opportunities and I don't.
It takes stronger people to really beat it. Like, so salute yourself that we are lucky. You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? Us three and everybody else that battles that addiction, whether you call it a disease or issue, whatever you know what I'm saying, the phrase that people put on it. I just had a fucking problem. Like, I was the problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It took me that day, I was in the hospital, to understand it. My higher power slapped me. Heard it clear as day. Bro, you got a second chance at life. You know, do what you got to do. And I live my life by that sentence, that voice I heard that day, August 16th of 2013. You know what I'm saying? So when people do pass from our addictions, you know, it's nobody else's fault, bro. Like, we can't wear that shit. And I had to let that go a long time ago, especially me, because I, for whatever reason, wanted to be a dope boy. And I watched women, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
That I had served. I watched their life kind of go down while I was getting sober. And I wore that for a long time, reached out to a few of them and apologized. You know what I'm saying? And the truth was, bro, if it wasn't me, it was somebody else that was going to give it to him anyway. You know, like, but I did make my amends with that. Like, yo, I apologize. Every one of them said this, and hey, I was going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. But it was just my emotions. Yeah. Where I'm like, oh, I'm responsible. Like, I did this. Not reality, I did it. You know what I'm saying? You had tried to help her so many times where now you were just the punching bag and getting taken advantage of. Let me call Heba after not talking to her for years, right? This is the number I'm dialing because she'll do whatever the fuck I say. And you set a boundary.
I did set a boundary.
You know what I'm saying?
I picked a hell of a boundary to set, but I did.
No, that's a boundary. Like, as you should have. Like, hey, yo. Because in reality, what you said wasn't like, you're gonna die. It was like, I care about you enough that I'm not gonna do this shit because you're gonna die. And I don't want to be responsible for your death.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
like, some people would have been like, oh shit, like, she's right. Let me change. But in that instance, it was like, okay, fuck it. Let me call the next sucker.
Exactly.
You did. So applaud yourself. Like, don't walk around with so much pain for doing the right thing. I applaud you.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? That was good.
I wish I wasn't so angry, but
man, you can't help that. That's an emotion. And at that time, that's how it came out. Setting a firm boundary that I'm not going to play the fool for you because we've been through too much shit and I like where my life is going.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Thank you.
So after that phone call, this young lady passed away. Clearly, you're still dealing with some of those emotions. How did you move forward?
Honestly, I started digging a little deeper into what my higher power is and kind of and it changes. It's evolving every day.
We all do. And that's the beautiful thing about recovery, yo. Like, we get to decide.
Exactly. How I coped with all of this is, the expression that they have at meetings. And I honestly don't go to meetings.
Me either.
At all. Like, I'm so anti-meeting, it's not even funny. But if it works for you, if it works for you, go for it.
Yeah,
you can work the steps.
I don't knock it.
Yeah,
I don't knock it.
You?
It just was not for me.
Yeah, it was not for me either.
And I got real pissed off when one of them guys told me that I was living on grace because I didn't go to meetings. I said, "Damn, bro, aren't we all?"
Right.
And he just looked at me like real puzzled. I'm like, "There's a question, man." Like, I'm just asking you.
No, I coped with it and turned my life around by giving. You get what you get. What is it? You keep what you you keep what you have by giving it away, is what they say at the meetings.
Bars.
So I decided, if God, my higher power, Buddha, whoever it is,
Sean's case, the water.
Yeah.
You want to go kayaking?
Absolutely. Okay. If I was spared because I should have died several times over the amount of times that I did dope and freaking blacked out for hours. For hours sitting on the toilet obviously with the seat closed, but
hey man,
just
with the seat
sleeping.
closed, up, down, whatever. Like, no judgment here. You know,
just sitting in the bathroom for like hours, just blacked out. I'm here for a reason. I didn't die in the accident for a reason. I didn't overdose for a reason. You know, I probably did overdose. I just didn't die. Everything that has happened was to lead me to help other people.
Yes, you found purpose.
I found purpose.
Yes, see?
I found purpose.
And that's the vibe, yo. Like, I tell everybody now, like, I'm so grateful for my mistakes, my past, because had I not, none of this shit would be possible. You know, how I'm able to relate with people in the struggle and we have these conversations. Like, it makes me happy to know that, man, I did all of that dumb shit so you don't have to go through it. And even if you're going through it, like, hey, let me help you. You know what I'm saying? Like, how important would it have been back in the day if somebody close to me in age, still kind of hip, cool with the times, could say, hey, bro, you don't have to live that way.
Absolutely.
Like, there's a whole life over here, because that's what changed my life. I had a therapist who just happened to be in recovery, which opened my eyes because I'd heard the medical hoopla for years, and it just made me, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. I'm like, well, I'm not fucking crazy. Like, this is how I feel. You know what I'm saying? So I hated therapy, I resented it for a long time. And then when I finally decided to go, like you in the situation pulling over to save the young lady's life, right? And somebody just happened to be there to call the cops, knew CPR, that's how I felt walking into this therapist's office. You know, he asked me what happened. I told him, and the first person ever, right, was like, dude, I understand. I was like, wait, you do? So yeah, man, I got 40 years in recovery, and here's how I lived.
40 years.
And I was like,
wow,
holy shit. Like, hope.
Absolutely.
Hope hit me, and I was like, oh my God, like, this is possible. You know what I mean? Like, here's somebody I can touch, I can call, I can talk to, and this man is telling me he hasn't had a drink or a drug use in 40 years. At this point, I was probably sober like 3 days.
Right.
So it motivated me so much. I was like, 40 years, like, I'm gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? I went home that day, turned the fuck up. You know what I mean? But that's what this is about. So I'm happy to hear that as you went through all of your struggles, like, there's power in it. You know what I'm saying? So much power. So as we get to wrapping it up, tell me, what is something that you could tell that young man, that young woman, who is on the brink of maybe destruction, like, and they don't really see it, but being that you've been down that road, because like you said yourself, it just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I had an issue internally, and I ended up walking out of hospital and addict. You know what I'm saying?
There's actually a couple of things that I would say.
Shit, do your thing.
Sorry, my voice just went.
Mine too.
So, piggybacking off what you said off air earlier, or off.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What'd I say?
You said that everybody has everybody has their own rock bottom.
Ah, yeah, that part. All right, cool.
You might not recognize it yourself, but others around you do. Your bosses at work who are fed up, your family, whatever the case may be, read the signs and acknowledge in the right time that it's time to make a change. And if you can't make a change one day at a time, take it 1 minute at a time. Take it 1 second at a time. Break that shit down as little as you have to make it to the next level.
Word.
Get rid of the people, places, and things that are not good for you.
Word.
If they are not positive, if they are not, your friendships, your relationships should be ones that bring you up, not bring you down. If they're bringing you down continuously, you need to cut that shit out. And recovery can be a very lonely place, and it's hard to make a change. But once you find your people, you're with them for life.
Word. Nah, I respect it because it definitely is the vibes. You know what I'm saying? It was lonely, but that loneliness was so worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think that was my fear at first. Like, what am I gonna do?
Because all these friends, these
Bro, them motherfuckers disappeared so quick. Yep. Like their ass was gone. Like I think I might have got 2 invites. Now I don't get invited to shit. I'm like, damn, bro, y'all can't just call me. I'm gonna tell you no, but the invite. You know what I'm saying? Hit me with that. Just invite me. Fuck, we was cool. I just don't do fucked up shit no more. All right, I appreciate you, Heba.
Absolutely.
I'm leaving this. Man, I ain't gonna even say podcast. This meeting, I had fun. I am inspired. Your story is amazing. If there's anything that I could ever do to be of service to you,
I appreciate that.
To assist whatever you're working on, like let's link, let's build. That's what this is also about: community and togetherness.
Absolutely.
Afterwards, I'm gonna introduce you to Sean again. He gonna set you up to get you on the water with the kayak to recovery program.
Okay.
You like kayaking?
I've never been actually.
Ooh. What did you say, sir? So I can speak into the microphone. What did you say? He started a nonprofit.
Nice.
What's it called? Recovery Outdoors.
Nice.
I
like it.
Yeah, it's sweet.
That's amazing. Something, and I'll wrap this up too, but something else I skipped over was that I ended up going to Malibu for to go to sobriety, to go to a sober living.
Sobriety?
And go to sobriety. I'm on my way to sobriety.
Malibu.
But they had horse therapy and they did a lot of walks in the San Fernando Valley and just in the mountains, because Malibu is all mountains and beaches. And we would do walks and stuff.
Palm Springs.
It's awesome.
I heard about that place.
The outdoors, there's something cleansing. I mean, you see me with my crystals.
Shit, here we go.
Really
That's my language. You know what? This was awesome. I appreciate you pulling up to the Redeem Yourself podcast. Until next time.